I'm back again doing another review for Project Hail Mary. This film came out March 20th, and hey everybody, it's me again. You already know. Just read the channel name. Don't be passive aggressive. Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael, and I'm going to be reviewing Project Hail Mary. This movie came out on March 20th, 2026, and it stars Sandra Hüller, James Ortiz, and Ryan Gosling, aka me. We are all Ryan Gosling. Project Hail Mary, based on the same name as the novel, was written by Drew Goddard and Andy Weir, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, and cinematography by Greg Fraser. As you may know by my other review, if you haven't watched it of Set Help, I kind of briefly went through how I rate films and how I structure it all, and it's based into 10 categories, and if I feel like that category satisfies my needs, then I will give it a star, and whichever categories end up with a star out of 10 is what I would give the film. This one, we got a little bit to go. I'm going to try to make this a little bit faster than the last one. The last one was the Send Help review was way longer than I wanted it to be, so I'm going to try to speed this one up to the point where it's not incomprehensible. I'm already talking too much. Let's get into this. So, first one is the acting. I felt that Ryan Gosling's performance was amazing. Honestly, all of his other filmography is something that kind of just sets a foundation and builds up from there, and he just does an incredible job at comedy. I feel like, to me personally, it's line delivery that really matters, and he does a really good job at just making sure that the comedy is driven through the acting rather than just strictly relying on dialogue to tell jokes all the time, which honestly I can't live with. From this very first scene, Gosling commands the screen with an effortless confidence that grounds the film even in its most absurd moments. His impeccable comedic timing and delivery is truly something that I appreciate. Sandra Hüller did an incredible job playing somebody who not only has a personality deep inside that hard shell that of authority, because she's this very authoritative figure who needs to make sure that this mission goes correctly. And honestly, I thought that the acting, even the robotic voice for the alien creature Rocky, was actually a voice actor that was talking in that kind of tone. And I felt like that was really cool too. They didn't just go with some robot animated voice that they could have just typed prompts in, which I thought was just extra layer of personality to something that has personality rather than sucking personality out of something that does have it. The rest of the cast truly work together, and I feel like all of their performances combined really do satisfy my needs, so the acting category does get its star. Next is cinematography. Word has gone around that absolutely no green screen or blue screen was used in the film, which is borderline unbelievable given the nature of the genre and the standard that it gives itself. The ship that Ryan Gosling's character is on is entirely a prop. The whole thing is built to set, and the whole thing is filmed in the interior, including moments where Rocky is rolling around. That character in itself is beautifully captured through puppeteers and animatronics, and only very complicated scenes where they weren't able to film puppeteers going around and moving the limbs. They had to use CGI for that, which I feel like, given an artistic standpoint, that should be the boundary that you set when you decide when to use VFX, is when you just simply cannot do it with a person. The cinematography beautifully coexists with the soundtrack, which amplifies certain scenes that overflow with beauty, making them emotional even within themselves. Cinematography gets the star. Next is soundtrack. Is it unique or does it fit the tone? The soundtrack is a witty and curious little spectacle that's so interesting to hear. It's very vocal heavy, with a chorus and a choir that really just tends to bend the instruments as the instruments are playing. They kind of seem like the layers really allow you to get lost within the music while also discovering new and exciting ventures within the narrative. The vocal forward track tightens the grip of curiosity while adding charm and personality to the scene. Pair this with the already eccentric and unpredictable Ryan Gosling, and you have a cosmic cocktail that's intoxicating within the first few moments of the film. Soundtrack is unique and or fits the tone of the film, gets the star. Next is the writing. The writing of the film is perfect within the very tight-knit confines of its sci-fi, very definition-based language film that a lot of sci-fi films tend to go off of when they talk about bacteria or microorganisms or parts of a ship or electronic processes. They tend to really bury the audience within techno lingo that really get people fucking lost. This doesn't do that. This film really does try to break everything down early and then keep using those info while slowly bending the definition of the meaning of the word over time, hoping that audience can just get comfortable with what these words mean and how they impact the narrative. As long as you're following along with the dialogue, you should not have a hard time comprehending what is happening. You might still get lost in these non-existent terms for these different alien races and planets and all that stuff, but honestly, the film brings up these words a lot and frequently to the point where it's very hard to do that. Writing definitely does get the star. Next is stable and interesting plot. So the plot has a certain structure to it, and I'll touch more on that in the next category, but the film likes to cut in between the past and the present. So if you're watching a scene in the present and then it cuts to the past, the information that you learn in that scene that takes place in the past heavily benefits what could occur or makes up and explains what happened in the last scene that took place in the present. So it's present, past, and as you cut in between, which you could know through certain ways, one, through just by watching the film, because he's, on Earth in the past, or what I really like is there's a shift in the aspect ratio, where in some parts, when it's in 1:90, sometimes when it kind of seamlessly transitions in between those two aspect ratios, by allowing these vertical flares to kind of breach through the letterboxes, and that kind of shows that you're about to transition into the present, which is in, I saw this in IMAX, so this was in the 1:90 ratio, which I thought was such a creative way to seamlessly bridge you from one section to the other through the aspect ratio without simply just adjusting, which I thought was awesome. Cutting between the past and the present is something that not only can allow the audience to get accustomed to the very information-dense story at a slower pace, but it also adds to the character's personality. Even when you're towards the end of the film, you're questioning what else could possibly go on about this person. And that's something that really keeps that 2.5-hour runtime going that big. So, stable and interesting plot does get the star. And next is unique narrative. So, as I've said, throughout the past, this is a very information-dense film, and it could overwhelm some people who may or may not really get adjusted to the pace of the film, which I feel like the pace of the film keeps it at a good steady rate just by interluding these comedic personal moments in between through Ryan Gosling's past and the present comedic moments that he has interacting with himself or the ship around him. What I personally like about this structure is that during the film, when it cuts to a scene that's in the present to a scene that's in the past, the scene will drop little nuggets of world building and exploration that I've mentioned in the past with stable and interesting plot that really give us new information that tailors to the scene in the present that will ultimately follow. Unique narrative gets the star. Next is visual effects. Now, as I've said before, this film has had use of just practical props, practical elements, and little to no blue or green screen, which I think is crazy. This film's method of filming sci-fi scenes are usually very VFX demanding, but given how they were able to accomplish so much with puppeteering and animatronics, I feel that not only allows the actor to really resonate with what they're seeing on screen, but it allows them to deliver their character in a multi-dimensional way by seeing who they're talking to and interacting in real time. This allows the character to act a certain way in that moment, which could bring more personality to the scene rather than simply trying to imagine something happening in front of them, which could take away from some natural elements, which I feel like are important. So by simply filming and producing the film this way, it enhances the richness of the performances from the actors, making this category earn its star. I don't know if you've been keeping track, but so far we're on number 8, which is satisfied with the ending. That's the 8th category. So far, all of them have the stars. So right now, this is a 7 out of 10 so far. Now we're going to be on satisfied with ending. I really do not want to give anything away when it comes to the ending of this film, only because you need to experience it yourself. You really do. By giving away the ending, I feel like I'm really putting a lot on screen, and I really don't want to do that. So just see the film yourself And you will know just by the ending that you see in the screen. I'm satisfied with it, and that is why it earns that star. Next is, does it hold the viewer's attention? Absolutely it does. It definitely holds the viewer's attention, and it held my attention not because I was in a movie theater surrounded by whoever knows how many other people, but because that film was 2.5 hours, and usually those movies drag on, and I know some people are like, well, yeah, I mean, when you gotta pee, it really does feel like it drags on, but I didn't, and it was awesome. Honestly, it held my attention, and I would watch it over and over again, which not only earns this category the star, but it also bleeds into the other category, which is personal taste / rewatchability. I have seen this film twice. I saw this first time in IMAX and the second time in RPX. They were amazing in both times, and to be honest, I would see it a third time, maybe a fourth. This film is entirely rewatchable. It has moments in it that I feel, with the way Ryan Gosling screams like a little child, it's just, I could rewatch those comedy scenes and laugh every single time. That's just my weakness, honestly. Given that I didn't choose to wait till the physical release to watch this again, it's a very good sign for this category. To see this twice in the theaters and not wait for the 4K to come out and then watch it on the OLED is, honestly, it shows two things. One, it's way better on a premium format. A larger screen, whether Adobe or an RPX or certainly an IMAX. Paying the money to see it a second time definitely shows that I truly enjoyed it the first time, and that just gives it the rewatchability factor. So I would say for sure that this category gets its star, and that's, wow, that's insane. Because I don't know if I've mentioned this in my Send Help video, because I don't know why the script isn't burned into my brain, but I have a method that I go by when I review movies, and in order for a film to garner a 10 out of 10, you have to watch it twice, because the first time you watch it, you're assimilating it for the first time, you're understanding the plot, you're getting used to the characters, you're getting cozy with it. The second time, you already know what happens, so now you're analyzing, your critical thinking, your deep thought. Now you're really being the movie's critic, and that is when you have the room to be a critic. Don't have the room to be a critic when you watch a film for the first time, because you want to be able to enjoy it. That's the point. The second time, if you still enjoy it and you still think it deserves a 10 out of 10, then that's when the last category, the rewatchable category, gets the star, and that's why it got the star, because I saw it twice. That means it has 10 out of 10. So I have a movie Hall of Fame on IMDb. It's a list of films that I've seen that I've given a 10 out of 10, and out of the thousands of films that I've watched, only 75 are in the Hall of Fame. The criteria is that you have to watch the film twice, which I've said before that I have. You have to enjoy it the second time, which, hello. You also have to analyze the film deeper than you did the first time. Don't try to think too hard about it on the first watch. Leave that up to the second watch, because by watching the film the first time, you're getting used to it, you're getting comfortable, you're being exposed and assimilating the plot and the details. And then the second time, that's when you can nitpick. That's when you can question throughout the film. That's when you can analyze character performances. That's when you can ask yourself constantly, do I like this? Does it deserve it? And that's what I did in my second watch. And truly, I back by my own statements on my second watch in that RPX theater. This film deserves it, and it has a 10 out of 10. So that makes Project Hail Mary the very first 10 out of 10 Hall of Fame inductee of 2026, giving it a 10 out of 10 stars. Holy shit. Thank you so much for watching this review. I hope that this was better, quicker, higher quality. I had more time to set this one up, given that I've finished unpacking for my move, 99% done. I still have boxes and stuff everywhere. Don't worry about that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have an awesome day. If you see this movie, let me know what you thought below. I'd love to hear everything about what you have to say. And, oh yeah, my Letterboxd review. I'll just leave it right here somewhere. There it is. Look at that. Yep. That's a Letterboxd review.